culture is bad. We have better values now. And that stops right at the front door when it comes to rap. When it comes to hip hop and rap, I mean, any song that you pick up is going to be the most retrograde values that you ever heard. If you're a progressive and you listen to rap, I'm not sure exactly how you square that, Franklin, because a lot of the stuff that's promoted in rap is mistreatment of women, treating of women as commodities, drugs, the attempts to promote violence. I mean, look, all these messages are really bad, and kids do, in fact, imbibe them.
People in the black rap community have come out and said that this is just blatant cultural appropriation racism, because you're accusing all their music that they produce of being about selling drugs, pushing guns, stripper poles, turning our sons into thugs, and so on. What do you say to that criticism?
I think that there's all types of rappers out there. There's black rappers and white rappers and Asian rappers and Indian rappers, all types of rappers. And I don't think that criticizing sort of the status quo of the genre or criticizing the prevalent content of the music, I don't agree that there's anything racist about that.
Yesterday, a Trump fan from Philly decapitated his father because his father was voting for Joe Biden. That's like Vanilla ISIS. You can't tell me that in the culture that he claims that he stands for, that there's no violence and sex. You can't tell me that. Anyone who supports Trump, like Tom McDonald does in his music, after Trump's mugshot, after January 6th, after this man has been indicted for rape and has 91 felonies, you can't tell me about Blue Lives Matter. You can't tell me that you're about law and order. You're being a hypocrite.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, with success comes jealousy and hate. And there's gonna be a whole lot of jealousy, hate, and wokeness in this video right here, featuring woke Trump deranged rapper Talib Kweli, DJ Vlad, and Piers Morgan, who are going to be having a conversation about the #1 rap song on the iTunes charts right now, Facts, with Tom McDonald featuring Ben Shapiro. And obviously, there's a whole lot of hate towards this song from so-called black rappers in the black community because they don't. Ben Shapiro made a rap song criticizing the negative externalities of rap, and they're going to discuss this in this interview, and I want to react to it because it's as woke as you could imagine. Okay, the amount of wokeness and Trump derangement syndrome in this interview is off the charts. So I want to go ahead and get into it because it's going to take a while to get through this one. So without further ado, let's get it.
What is your objection to this song?
Well, first of all, forgive my voice because I'm coming off tour. My voice sounds a little scratchy.
Forgive it.
I want
Sounds
to
pretty cool,
congratulate Tom. Okay, cool. I want to congratulate Tom McDonald on his journey in sobriety because that's very important to note that part of his story is about his journey in sobriety. I do think it's very cowardly and very racist to blame hip-hop for his addiction, as if white people don't have addiction issues. That's first and foremost. But if we're going to talk about the song Facts with Ben Shapiro, let's have a facts versus feelings conversation, which is something that Ben Shapiro always says. The hook of the song is "This ain't rap," which I agree with. It's not rap. It's not hip hop. Has nothing to do with rap. Pierce, you're wrong. The song has nothing to do with rap. This song, he says, money, cars, clothes. We ain't selling drugs. We ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns. We ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs and your daughters into hoes. This is not facts. He completely erased all conscious hip hop. You see, I got this shirt from Tribe Called Quest, one of the greatest rap groups of all time. He erased what I do. He erased what my people do. And most of my friends don't rap about those things. Tom is lying about rap.
Well, yeah, but hang on. Okay, all right. Yeah, but hang on.
Yeah, so before Pierce gets into this, I want to interject my opinion on what this guy has said thus far because, as you guys can see, this guy is pretty woke. Okay, the wokeness is off the charts here. First and foremost, I don't think that Tom McDonald is erasing so-called conscious rap. I think what he's bringing attention to is the fact that if you're being intellectually honest about rap and what most rap is, the rap that most people consume, like, for example, if you go to any rap playlist on Spotify that has the top rap songs in the country, you're going to hear songs that promote the worst behaviors in our society. You're going to hear songs that promote degeneracy. Okay, now he may do conscious rap, but conscious rap doesn't sell. Conscious rap is not charting. Conscious rap doesn't really make as much money as the degenerate rap. That's just the facts, okay? So that's what Tom MacDonald is talking about in his song. I don't think that he's trying to dismiss conscious rap, but the fact of the matter is that when you talk about consuming rap, most of the rap that is consumed nowadays promotes a lot of negative behaviors on our society, and kids are affected by it in negative ways, okay? It negatively affects the black community. You cannot dispute this, okay? It is what it is. It's just a fact. Now, I don't know who Talib Kweli thinks he is to gatekeep rap, because he's essentially saying that Tom MacDonald's song is not rap. I'm not sure why he's saying that, because his song is rap, okay? It's just a criticism of current and modern day rap, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Just because he's criticizing rap, that doesn't make it not rap. It is rap. That's the genre, and rap, as he's acknowledging here, is diverse. There are different types of rap. But if we're being intellectually honest, the most popular rap songs in the country that are consumed, again, just go to any chart that has the top rap songs in the country at any given time, most of them are going to be promoting negative behaviors on society. Okay, that's the reality. And I think that that's what Tom MacDonald is talking about.
I don't think he's saying all rappers do. In fact, he made a point of saying he doesn't mean all rappers or all hip hop stars. But there's no doubt some do. There's no doubt some do that.
He made a vast majority. A vast majority. And that's the facts. Again, just look at any chart with the top rap songs in the country. I guarantee you can't get through the top 3 of them without at least one of them mostly being composed of lyrics that promote degeneracy.
Made a point, of course, and there's some country music artists and some heavy metal artists that participate in violent and sexual content.
But see, here's the thing. When you talk about those other genres of music, when it comes to the amount of degeneracy and negative behaviors that are promoted in that music, it is not as prevalent, not nearly as prevalent as what you hear in rap. I guarantee you, if you go through the top country charts, the top rock charts, you're not going to hear songs in which a vast majority of the song is promoting degenerate behaviors. You don't have to worry about your kids listening to these songs and coming away with being influenced to do things that, again, are very degenerate and negative for society. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all. And again, this is not me being a fan of rock or country, anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I do listen to some country, okay? But I'm just being honest, okay? I'm being intellectually honest about the difference between rap as a genre versus some of these other genres, and the amount of degeneracy in rap versus these other genres. And again, this is just the reality of it.
Would never make a song, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't specify that he meant some rap in the song. He specified that on your show, right, when you question him. But on the song, he's saying, I'm trying to be offensive, and I'm hoping to upset people. So guess what? As a black man who does hip hop, I'm offended. If you were trying to offend me, well, then you did a good job. To claim that rap or art is a cause of violence and or cause of addiction in his life is irresponsible and hypocritical. When a bomb drops in a nation, it falls on the just and the unjust. I watched a movie called Oppenheimer last night about a white man who made an atomic bomb that dropped on Japanese people because another white man genocided 6 million Jewish people. Killers of the Flower Moon is a movie about a great movie about a white men who go and pillage and steal from Native American people. Yesterday, a Trump fan from Philly decapitated his father because his father was voting for Joe Biden. That's like vanilla ISIS. You can't tell me that in the culture that he claims that he stands for, that there's no violence and sex.
Wow, this is probably one of the most idiotic arguments that I've ever heard in my life, because I'm not sure exactly what any of the things he just brought up have to do with the topic at hand, which is about music and different music genres and which ones promote degenerate behavior and which ones don't. Because it, to me, sounds like this guy has an issue with white people. I think he's trying to equate the U.S. dropping an atomic bomb on Japan to end World War II with white culture. And I guess he's trying to argue that Tom McDonald is promoting white culture. But regardless, what he's doing here is he's deflecting. Okay, he's using these examples that are irrelevant, these comparisons that don't make sense, to deflect from the real conversation, which is that there's no other genre of music that promotes degeneracy the way that rap does. And he really can't argue that, and that's why he tries to rope in these examples that really don't make sense, these comparisons that are not relevant, as an example of white culture. To say, well, look, whites dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese, therefore they promote stealing and killing and doing all this stuff that you say that hip-hop promotes. It's one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard.
You can't tell me that. Anyone who supports Trump, like Tom McDonald does in his music, after Trump's mugshot, after January 6th, after this man has been indicted for rape and has 91 felonies, you can't tell me that you about...
So, in other words, Tom McDonald supports Trump, and they try to say Trump. What about the record where Joe Biden had? Criminal record. Obama. You don't bring none of that shit up. Because why? Because Obama was black. Joe Biden's an ass kisser. Trump is a white guy trying to say he had a criminal record. But let's be honest. Trump's doing more than Joe Biden, Obama, and Bush did in the last 18 years of their presidency. They get 4 years, 8 years each. 8 out of 16, 26 years altogether. He did more than 3 presidents did in 26 years. Let that sink into your head before your stupid motherfucker like this open his mouth.
One order. You're being a hypocrite.
Okay, but again, what does Trump have to do with this? Okay, what does Trump have to do with the core argument, which is about the genre of music and whether or not most of the music promotes degeneracy and negative behaviors? It has nothing to do. Again, this guy is more obsessed with Tom McDonald's skin color, white folks, and Trump than actually sticking to the real argument at hand, because he really can't argue against it.
No.
But I'm not sure where Trump is going out and promoting drug use. I'm not sure where he's going out and promoting stealing, killing, robbing. I'm not sure where Trump is going out and promoting degenerate behaviors. I think that is not fair to equate the obvious political persecutions against Trump as, well, Trump's not pro-law and order. Again, it's kind of ridiculous because Trump is not a criminal. He has not been convicted of any crime. And the accusations against him, again, are political.
Okay, powerful words. DJ Vlad, you've been sitting there patiently. What do you make of all this?
I mean, I agree somewhat with Talib Kweli, who's also a friend of mine. The problem is that when you talk about rap and you want to talk about the gangster lyrics, the violent lyrics, the drug lyrics, when you look at rap as a whole, when you look at the biggest rappers in the world right now, Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, these guys aren't rapping about drugs. They're not talking about violence. They're not talking about, beating women or whatever else. And I think a lot of times when you have these songs that try to generalize these types of things, it oversimplifies things and it gives rap in general a bad name.
Well, I mean, look, again, it is true that some of the biggest rappers in the world, Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, yes, their music is not as degenerate as, let's say, for example, a Cardi B or a Meg Thee Stallion or a Sexy Red, but their music does not compose a majority of rap. Again, if you look at any rap chart, look at a majority of the songs. There's a lot more other songs on these playlists that you can hear. For example, like drill rap, like rap that, again, does promote some of these bad behaviors, that does promote drug use. You're going to hear a lot of that, okay? Especially when it comes to promiscuity from women. If you listen to the top female rappers, almost all of their songs incentivize and promote behaviors that are bad for women, okay? Almost all of them, okay? They're all about F dudes, get money, sex. That's what they're all about. Sexy Red has little black girls across the country talking about the color of their genitalia. She has been extremely influential. And these types of artists are pushed in front of kids' faces more so than people like a Talib Kweli, who does conscious rap, and that's who they're being influenced by. That's where the criticism is coming from. has nothing to do with racism, has nothing to do with black rappers or whatever. But reality is that you do have a vast majority of rap that does promote this type of stuff, and it's being pushed on people. It's the most popular stuff. Now again, that doesn't mean that the top rappers in the world are necessarily pushing this to that level, but they don't make up a vast majority of the music either. They don't.
So it's kind of annoying. And, listening to the song, on face value, it doesn't sound like he's really saying anything wrong. But a lot of times when you have these sort of white supremacist type of sayings, like, for example, all lives matter. From the outside looking in, of course, all lives matter. But it's really a shot at Black Lives Matter and kind of trying to undermine that type of thing. So I really don't like...
Vlad is ridiculous, right? He's one of the most ridiculous people because he's in the hip-hop culture. And because he's not black, they always criticize him for not being black. They accuse him of trying to profit off of black culture. But he comes out here and says the most liberal and woke things all the time. But it will never be enough for the woke revolutionaries. The woke revolutionaries will never accept somebody like him because he doesn't have dark skin. Okay, he's not black enough. But yeah, he'll come out and say stuff like this, okay, and accuse others of being racist when the real racists are the people that don't accept people like him because of him wanting to be in the rap industry. Again, it's pretty amazing.
What we call in hip-hop sneak dissing. And I feel the song has a lot of sneak dissing.
Tony, would it be fair to say that hip-hop has moved to a, for want of a better word, a better place? That the biggest stars no longer want to rap about stuff that caused all the offense, and actually it's changed. Is that accurate?
See, I don't think that this should be a conversation with 3 white people and 1 black person about the state of hip-hop and
Wow, incredible stuff. Again, this is what I'm talking about. These people who always boo, whine, and crown about racism always reveal themselves to be the biggest racists, right? They're the real racists in the room here. This guy says, well, I don't think that we should be having a conversation about hip-hop with 3 white people. As if white people have no contributions to hip-hop, okay? Rap is exclusively for black people. When I would argue that, you could argue that one of the greatest rappers ever is white. Eminem, he's white. Who consumes a significant amount of rap and hip-hop music? White folks. Who buys a significant amount of the concert tickets? White people. In fact, without white people, a lot of these black folks in rap wouldn't be rich. You wouldn't be nearly as rich as you are because you damn sure not going to get that rich just off black folks. White people are the reason why you have the platform that you have. But yet, this guy is saying that, well, if you're white, you're not allowed to be a part of the conversation. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
For random on hip-hop. I think that's the wrong direction to go. One more thing I'm going to say about Donald Trump is that Tom McDonald is an immigrant.
Wow.
Donald Trump just said immigrants are poisoning our blood here in America.
That's not what he said. He said illegal immigrants. Again, this guy's brain is on MSNBC.
Donald Trump uses white nationalist rhetoric from Mein Kampf and Hitler all the time. And
again, brain on MSNBC. Doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Has no clue. He watched MSNBC. He's taking those talking points. He's regurgitating them. He didn't even listen to what Trump actually said.
Guy is a supporter of his.
Yeah, this song is called Facts. Hang on. Listen, you can have your views about Donald Trump. That's fine. And by the way, you can say...
No, I said, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. That's why I'm going to the song.
I get it, but the idea that I'm not allowed to, or DJ Vlad isn't allowed to, comment about hip-hop or rap is ridiculous.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. That's exactly what you said. Well, we should be having this conversation. 1 black person, 3 white folks.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said. You basically implied that, hey, white people shouldn't be at the table when it comes to a conversation about rap. That's what you said. That's what you implied, at the very least.
And he'd said
DJ Vlad, no, I didn't. Let me be clear. DJ Vlad is a controversial figure in our culture. A lot of people accuse him of being a culture vulture. That is not a criticism that I personally agree with, although I do understand the argument. I work with, unbeknownst to a lot of people, I've done more songs with white rappers than any rapper you can name, any black rapper you can name. My next singles featuring Mac Miller, rest in peace. I work with Macklemore. I work with R.A. the Rugged Man. There's no problem with white people in hip hop. There's a problem.
And I will say about some of those white rappers, like for example, Mac Miller, a criticism of him, I think he promoted a lot of drug use. A lot of drug use. And it was negative. And I think that deserves criticism. He ultimately lost his life over these behaviors that he promoted. So again, I think they're
in the classrooms in 15 different bathrooms and white guys that hate black dudes. They want war, they don't want peace. They want fentanyl in our streets. They want borders to be weak. I swear the devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a Democrat. And we